Nobody's yet said how much it's going to cost the taxpayer. I know that the senator says she's for Bernie. Well, I'm for Barack.
On Medicare for all, costs are going to go up for wealthier individuals and costs are going to go up for giant corporations. But for hardworking families across this country, costs are going to go down.
Every study done shows that Medicare for all is the most cost-effective approach.
So Joe Biden is against Medicare for all. He's against health care for every American. How do I know this? His health care plan leaves 10 million people uninsured, and that's the starting point for his policy proposals, when we all know that Republicans will always chip away at it, and chip away is putting it mildly. They will take a jackhammer to it. And so all of that is important context and a good reminder before we jump into this story. Centrist Democratic think tank, Third Way, which has a history of supporting centrist corporate candidates like Hillary Clinton in 2016, and Joe Crowley's done work with them before Ocasio-Cortez kicked him to the curb in 2018. And they even took Koch brother money on free trade. So they have naturally been supportive of Joe Biden because they are terrified of Medicare for all. They take pharma money, insurance money, etc. So now they are trying to mislead the public into thinking Medicare for all isn't as popular as it actually is. And Joe Biden is now circulating those very talking points. A new poll by a firm linked to Joe Biden is testing messages designed to undercut support among Democrats for Medicare for all, one of the most contentious issues splitting the party's top presidential contenders. The survey, commissioned by the centrist Democratic think tank Third Way, found that primary voters start off favoring the government-run healthcare system by a margin of 70% to 21%, but can be persuaded to oppose it. 70% to 21% in the Democratic primary, meaning that's the actual popular position of Democratic voters. So instead of working to represent Democrats, Joe Biden and Third Way are apparently choosing, instead of that option, to gaslight us into thinking that Medicare for all is actually a really bad thing. The study showed that Democrats are most swayed by the arguments that the program would impose a heavy cost on taxpayers and threaten Medicare for senior citizens. The threatening of Medicare's for senior citizens, that being at risk, is just a lie. It's a false, blatant lie. Biden and Third Way are trying to lie to you to protect insurance companies' profits. Lie to you about a position you would normally support. So the taxpayers, on that point, yes, your taxes would go up, but then you'd have no premiums, deductibles, copays, and it would be cheaper overall just through your taxes. Why is he using right-wing talking points to talk about this very basic issue? I know why. Because he wants to win, and he's a right-wing Democrat. So this is the route that he's going. Gaslighting the American people. How democratic. The survey found that Democrats are most swayed to oppose Medicare for all when told it would cost American taxpayers $3.2 trillion per year. 51% of Democratic primary voters said they found that argument convincing, while 43% said they did not. The poll also found that 51% of Democratic voters said the argument that it would end Medicare as we know it was convincing, while 53% said the claim that it would lower quality of care for seniors was convincing, and 51% said the argument that Medicare for all could expand wait times and limit access to medical specialists was convincing. So, again, these are all right-wing Mitch McConnell talking points that Third Way and Joe Biden are cooking up behind the scenes in their little centrist laboratory. And Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, who were basically tag-teaming Joe Biden at the Democratic debate and going after him about this issue on either side of him, need to start undercutting this narrative immediately before it grows, before it becomes the Frankenstein that it could. The debate questions are always coming from this narrative about raising taxes, the right-wing framing, and now Joe Biden, who is the front runner, according to the polling, is going to be using that exact same framing with the backing of corporations and big donors and think tanks like Third Way. If you have employer-based insurance, you get a chunk of money taken out of your paycheck already. And you get a chunk of your money taken out for taxes already. So you would get chunks of money taken out of your paycheck anyway, but it would just be less. Who cares where it's going, if it's going to a private health insurance company or if it's going to the government? it's going to work the exact same. But the right-wing framing is crazy. So we have to be hyper aware of this. Biden is going to start saying this more. The other Democrats like Klobuchar and Buttigieg, who are running to the right of Bernie and Elizabeth Warren, are going to be saying the same stuff too. So again, be prepared. We know that they're trying to cook this up behind the scenes, and it's important that we are able to combat it once it comes to us.